Hi, I'm Jake Piasecki, and you're listening to the CPG Guys.
Welcome to another episode of the CPG Guys podcast. Our hosts, Sri Rajgopalan, Peter V.S. Bond, and Brian Gildenberg, explore how brands and retailers engage consumers in an increasingly digitally driven world. And now, here are the CPG Guys.
Hello, folks, and welcome to this episode of the CPG Guys podcast. I'm, of course, Sri, co-founder, co-host of the CPG Guys, and also co-founder and partner of ThinkBlue, your key to unlocking your profitability potential. As builders, connectors, and amplifier, ThinkBlue shapes the future of commerce to drive your growth. Please do listen to my older daughter, Ria Raj's music at www.riaraj.com. My younger daughter, Laura Raj, is a member of the Geffen Records Universal Music Group Cat's Eye, while my wife, Kavita Raj, has her own podcast, Lights, Camera, Convo, on iHeartRadio and all streaming platforms. Cat's Eye, of course, has now completed its debut, done their first fan event, performed at Staples Center here in Los Angeles, crossed millions of followers on TikTok, Instagram. Their first hit single, Touch, is about to hit 100 million on YouTube. And at the time of this recording, they've just completed their first world tour, Asia. That's Philippines, New York, Manila, Seoul, I think Tokyo. And I'm actually recording this from Admiral's Club, waiting for it to come back, one terminal away. And they even got Usher to dance to the hit single Touch on Instagram. But joining me today, my best friend in this journey and also co-founder of the CPG Guys, Peter V.S. Bond. And he's not co-hosting this podcast. He serves as Partnership Acceleration Lead at Flywheel, a division of Omnicom that helps enterprise brands improve their SEO and SEM, growing the e-commerce businesses. 6 games to go, Peter. How you doing?
Sri, can I backup dance with Usher? Can I do the backup dance for Touch with Usher?
The fam has been trying to teach me that. I can't figure it out still.
Have I got this?
I like the hand thing.
I was teaching Nadia, my daughter, how to do it, and she's got it down too. We got to get you a little more coordinated, Sri, but I'm doing great, man. 6 games left. You know, you and I were together in New Jersey yesterday. We were speaking at the Consumer Goods Technology Sales and Marketing Summit in Princeton. And then you're going to see me in 2 weeks at Grocery Shop, and then I'm off to Unboxed. It is a busy, busy calendar for us. We are everywhere and anywhere we can be. It's kind of crazy. But 6 games, Sri, who's going to have home field advantage through the playoffs? That's what we're down to. And second, but more important, no, not the Yankees. But more importantly, will the White Sox win 40 games? I think no.
I don't think so either.
I don't think they could do it.
Well, one keynote that I noticed today that flashed through my Instagram profile on Major League Baseball, a very proud moment for me personally. The first player of Indian origin made his debut at MLB, Jake Rocker, a pitcher for the Twins, which was amazing. Rangers. Made my day to see that. To see his parents in the stands celebrate, that felt even more special because I know coming from the upbringing and the way I was raised and generally those around me were raised, sports wasn't a natural phenomenon or a fit. And it's great to see that we have a first in MLB. Now you know, Peter, I'm going to get even more annoying with baseball. And
one thing you and I can agree on, there will be no Subway Series this year. Let's just put the Mets to rest, shall we? That's just not happening. That, as my cousin Helen from Alabama would say, that dog won't hunt.
To me, the absolute biggest recovery or the team to fear is actually the Padres. So watch out, Dodgers.
I got to pay him 3 more times, but I also got the Rockies 3 more times. And by the way, Sri, should we announce the bet here? I think we should. We should make this official. So here's the deal:
all right, before we get to our guest,
no. If the Dodgers play the Yankees in the World Series, which if the Yankees lose, right, Sri and I are going to go to a game at the Rockies. The losers team, okay, they have to eat some fresh Rocky Mountain oysters. We'll leave it at that. I think that is it. We made it a challenge right here, Sri. We'll put it on video and we'll put it on LinkedIn. Rocky Mountain oysters. You know what I'm talking about.
We're going to all 7 games. So
I know, but we're talking about whoever loses the series. the losing team, you or I, if the Dodgers lose, I'm eaten. If the Yankees lose, you're eaten. But there are going to be some Rocky Mountain oysters consumed.
We have waited for this moment for a long time, but before we get to our guest, we would love to share that the CPG guys will actually be partnering with Cornell University to launch the Executive Education Program on Retail Media for brands and retailers in May 2025. Audience management, joint business partnership planning, budget planning, optimization, execution strategies for retail media. We will have it all. Meet some of the most important retail media network leaders in the space and grow together. Additionally, we want you to ask that you help spread the word about this community we've created in the CPG Guys beyond sharing a podcast with your friends. Using Apple Podcasts or Spotify as your preferred listening platform, leave us a rating as it helps feed the algorithm that makes us more findable by CPG retail people like you. Looking for education with entertainment, we've always said it's a baseball podcast where we share a little bit about the CPG industry. We're happy that the CPG Guys is part of an impressive collective of highly rated podcasts, including CPG Scoop with Risa and Jennifer, the FMCG Guys with Daniel, Efrain, and Christine. All three podcasts or teams will be attending Grocery Shop this year in Las Vegas, October 6 to 9. At the time of release of this podcast will be less than a week away. So please make sure to DM us, say hello, and shake some hands, or maybe get a cup of coffee. This year we're partnering with Drugstore News on December 4th at the iconic Lincoln Center on the annual Issues Summit on its 21st edition. We will also be co-presenting 8 awards at the event in the health and beauty care space to both brands and retailers, and also partnering with the Path to Purchase Institute on the annual Omni Shopper Awards, Chicago, November 14th, where a select group of winners will actually get to feature none other than, wait for it, CPG Guys. To be part of it, sponsor, get in touch with us at contact@cpgguys.com. Again, that's contact@cpgguys.com. I mean, you already know how to get a hold of us. I don't know why I have to repeat did I say contact@cpgguys.com? Links to our podcast, our sister cast, the social media profiles of my daughter Ria and Laura, my wife's podcast, how to register for the Path to Purchase Institute live event, or the Drugstore News Issues Summit may be found in the digital liner notes of this episode. And now on to the main event. Today's CPG landscape has, of course, accelerated a decade in the last 4 years since the beginning of the pandemic, as far as omnichannel retail is concerned. Today we talk to Jake Piasecki from none other than streaming TV and content leader Roku. The Roku team will actually be on ground at Grocery Shop in Las Vegas, October 7 to 9, to answer all your streaming TV and advertising questions. Drop Jake a note directly on LinkedIn to get in touch. Roku has been on the show 2 years ago in 2022, and since then, there's been a lot of advancements at Roku as well as the streaming media overall enterprise. To summarize it all, we'll hear from Jake, who of course is the head of CPG, health and wellness, and insurance vertical at Roku. That's the most interesting combination of 3 verticals I've ever seen. So please join me in welcoming Jake to the show. Jake, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm in our beautiful Times Square South location. This is our living room where we have a bunch of different TVs set up, and we bring partners in to show them tutorials straight from the Roku devices themselves. So yeah, it's a fun room.
I think I see Roku City there behind you, don't I, Jake?
That's Roku City.
Wow,
it's pretty fun. I definitely want to talk more about that. Talk a lot about what's going on here. But you said 6 games. My favorite number is 3, which is the magic number for the Yankees. So AL East, here we come.
It's actually the first number for the Yankees is today. It's 1. We beat Baltimore. We've clinched the AL East. 3 is playoff, home field playoff through the AL series. So hopefully we beat Baltimore today. I think it's Nestor Cortez on the mound. It's Luis Gill on the mound today. So we'll see. Clark Schmidt. I forget, it's one of them.
I'm sorry, were you guys talking about the 60-60 club? Is that what we're talking about? Because we're getting close to that. That's what I'm looking at for the rest of the season. 50-50 rear view mirror. We're looking for 60-60. Shotani.
He's amazing. He really is amazing. I mean,
he hits 63. We talk. Otherwise, shut up. Jake, before we get to the detailed questions we've prepared for you, it would be great if you took a quick 60 seconds here and gave us a brief overview of Roku and your specific role as the head of some verticals there.
Yeah, sure. So as you mentioned, I lead CPG, health and wellness, and the insurance verticals. And yes, it's a combination of a bunch of different types of businesses that come together. But interestingly enough, a lot of clients on Roku's platform are leveraging, similar tactics and strategies in some regard. And so certainly the CPG and a lot of the health and wellness and pharma side of the business, certainly the OTC side, really line up well together. But I head up a team that is responsible for going to talk to all of the various marketers, all of the agency partners involved, and really it's been a fun, 4.5 years I've been here at Roku now, and we've seen a lot of different growth and explosion of what we're doing in terms of the size and breadth of our platform, the size and breadth of the types of partnerships that we're doing together, third-party measurement, targeting capabilities, and a lot of different things going on. So it's been very exciting here, and really excited to talk to you all today and share more of what we're doing here.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us indeed. And in the digital liner notes of this episode, we'll place links to your LinkedIn profile. That's Jake's LinkedIn profile, Roku's LinkedIn page, and of course, Roku's website as well. That way, as you're listening to this podcast, you can simply, with one click, connect back to any of those straight from your smartphone. And now, drum roll, please. Jake, question number 1. I mentioned it a little while ago. 2 years since you guys were on the show. What's new? What's up? What's changed? How has Roku Media evolved for today's, what I would call 100% digitally influenced omnichannel landscape?
I like how you just put that, because I couldn't agree more. And it's it's been a great couple of years here, as I said, and the last time we're on the show was about 2 years ago. So there's been a lot going on here. Most recently, I think really importantly, we announced a new global head of revenue, Jay Askenazi, joined Roku, which we're completely thrilled. He's an incredible executive, and we love the vision he has. And I'm really excited personally to see where and how he takes Roku to the next step. And I think the last time we were on the show, we had about 60 million active accounts using a Roku device. As of this past Q2 that wrapped up in June, we're now over 83 million active accounts. So that puts us in a giant number, and we just keep seeing sequential quarterly growth, which is awesome. This Q2, we also just posted 30 billion streaming hours on the device, on all of our devices. That's up 20% year over year. And what's also really fun to see is not only are we sticks and pucks that you plug into your TVs, but we're also the leading U.S. Operating system in the U.S. for Roku TV. So 1 in 3 smart TVs sold in the U.S. is a Roku operated system. So we're excited about that. And we've continued to scale, and it's great to see more people using Roku, but also spending more time on the platform. And that's what we're really excited about, is that Roku has really become the de facto way that most Americans are watching TV today. In fact, we see just about 50% of all the ad impressions happening in streaming television. My team doesn't sell all those ads, but our devices and our platform sees consumers spending that much time in streaming television on the Roku device. And our approach to the marketplace has evolved as well over the past couple of years. Now we're fully interoperable with all third-party DSPs, and we're really trying to meet marketers where they want to transact and how they want to work with us. And we've really opened our platform to do more with marketers as well. So whether that's data collaboration and clean room solutions, home screen ad units and brand experiences, which I think we're going to talk about in a bit, integrating brands into Roku City back here, which was sort of unheard of about 2 years ago. And also working with a lot of CPG brands in particular, but also marketers across the board on branded content distribution partnerships. So leveraging the size and scale and what we do for other streamers in this space, using that type of real estate to help branded content and define the right audiences through a distribution plan. That's just to name a few things, but also what I've been really excited about over the past 2.5 years is leading the CPG vertical here. And the CPG vertical continues to be a leader when we break down our spend by verticals. And leading CPG brands are partnering with Roku to tap the power of streaming, really. And that's really our scale, deep consumer data and measurement tools, as well as a suite of innovative ad products. Listen, we know streaming is the future of television, and it's a really pivotal time in our industry as viewing habits continue to shift from legacy TV into streaming. So we work very closely with marketers and agencies to showcase how Roku can make their media investment drive meaningful results. So where we sit in the TV marketplace has certainly evolved in the past 2 years. And what we see is Roku is really the lead in to all TV. And our goal is to make advertisers unmissable along the entire streamer's journey, which we see from power on to purchase made, by offering a wide variety of marketing solutions from effective and efficient reach to shoppable ads, all of that brands can tap into. I'm sure we're going to get to a bunch of that stuff, but that's kind of what's been going on the past 2 years.
Thank you, Jake, and welcome to the podcast. Happy to have you despite the fact that you have Yankees leanings. We'll leave that aside. But I love one thing you said about Roku's increasingly the way that Americans are streaming television. In my household, all 3 of my TVs are Roku enabled. My daughter Nadia doesn't call it TV. She calls it Roku. Daddy, turn on the Roku. So we are aficionados. We have our apps. We're used to being able to do it. It's great. We're just such big fans. So, and on the plus side, if the Yankees are on your negative side, on the plus side, you're also a New Haven pizza aficionado. So we're going to give you creds for that. All right. So my question is actually around sports. You know, you've seen all these big deals going on. Amazon buying Thursday Night Football, and then Peacock wanting Friday, and everybody else wants their streaming sports. So sports is a pretty big deal around streaming. Sri and I, we subscribe to MLB TV because we need to stream wherever we're traveling. He's got to get the Yankees on the road. I got to get the Dodgers on the road. So I guess my question to you is this. What is the Roku sports experience, and why do you think it's particularly relevant to CPG brands?
Yeah, you couldn't be more right about how important sports is. I mean, you know, one of the biggest things we think about is following consumer demand, right, in general. And what we know is that consumers are constantly searching for on our platform, but also consuming sports content. Our sports strategy is to make the sports content easily available and aggregated for streamers. You know, as we've been talking about the Yankees and talking about certainly baseball, you know, I'm in the business and I run a team here at Roku, and I'm a huge Yankees fan, as you mentioned, but I'm not sure on Friday nights which app or which service the games are on sometimes. And so that's a conundrum that sports fans now shifting from linear into streaming are facing. And that's something we learned very early on, and we've been working very closely with a bunch of the major leagues, so Major League Baseball, NBA, NFL, to create deeper league partnerships with Roku, how we can better leverage our platform for their fan bases. This has now opened up, allowing us to operate something we call our sports zone. So we have an NFL zone, an NBA zone, an MLB zone. And for those not familiar with our zones, they're incredible. And I really believe the future of how people are going to watch TV. So we'll take the NFL zone as an example. It's a one-stop shop for all things NFL for the upcoming weekend. You click into the zone, which lives off of our home screen, and it brings you into an immersive league experience. So for NFL, it provides all the weekend matchups, where to watch. It's easy one-click subscription if you don't have the app or service. So you just use one click off your Roku remote, and you can subscribe into that service. And it's just a great environment where you can, all things NFL are housed there, and shows you exactly where to find them on your Roku device. It's great for, as I mentioned, people who have cut the cord and they're moving out of their linear, channel guide where it's, Fox and it's Fox and CBS and NBC on a weekend. So it's a great way for streamers to find what they are looking for. We've been talking a lot about baseball. We just partnered with the MLB this summer to stream and represent a number of Sunday MLB baseball games, which has been fantastic. We're also operating an MLB zone, so that'll be in high demand as we head into the postseason. And really, there's a ton more to come with our zones and league partnerships and what that opens up. I should also say we've been partnering with the NFL now for a couple of years around the zone, but also how we bring the Super Bowl into play in a bigger way and really leverage the big game for marketers. Another piece of our sports experience on Roku is Rich Eisen, arguably one of the best NFL analysts, calls Roku home. His show, which is a podcast, but now a video podcast, runs live on the Roku channel Monday through Friday, which is fantastic. And he's just a massive Roku ambassador and just a fantastic person. This summer, for those that watch the Olympics on their Roku device, which I hope your family did, Peter, we partnered with NBCU to create an Olympic zone. So again, very much like our sports zones in general, it's a one place of access for all of the various Olympic events that took place this past summer. TV viewing experience is evolving, and more consumers are recognizing the value and how to navigate the streaming environment, especially on a Roku device. And you mentioned CPG. Listen, sports has always been a place where CPG brands play, especially within the Alc Bev piece of the sub vertical. And we're seeing sports investment dollars continue to shift into streaming. And that's where we think things like our zones are going to be a major opportunity for CPG brands. Leveraging Roku's sports zones extends reach and reinforces league sponsorships, as well as provides a massive platform to drive more awareness and engagement with sports fans, which we know is really, really critical. Whether we're talking about the NFL or any of the leagues we just mentioned, we also stand up a college football zone. We also have a women's sports zone, which is really important. And women's sports is having a major moment, well-deserved, that we know are solving for consumer need, as well as further engaging an important audience. And again, all of these zones, which everything on Roku, by the way, is proudly ad-supported with integrated branding, interactive, and brand engagement opportunities. So there's a ton more to come in that space, and I think it's a really valuable place. And listen, we're always looking for new opportunities, but it's certainly the early success around zones, I think, is just an amazing accomplishment.
Sri, sports check. I think he says they got it covered.
Really? They're missing one very important zone, Peter. Let me get to it in 1 second. So he said,
I know which one. Don't even say it.
Yeah, CPG Guys zone.
No, well, that's not a sports zone, but I thought you were going to go with the cricket zone.
As the second largest sport after soccer, 15 times the size of Super Bowl for the finals. It's going to happen at some point. But I'm not interested in that one, Peter. I want the CPG Guys zone. So don't distract me.
You guys and Rich Eisen.
There we go.
I like this.
So we'll go from zones to your partnership with the Trade Desk. And can you take us a little bit into Unified ID 2.0 as well as the Roku Exchange and how Unified ID 2.0 plays into the Roku Exchange?
Yeah, sure. It's a great question. As I mentioned before, we have a major focus on meeting advertisers where they are transacting and how they want to transact. So we are standing up our own DSP for a couple of years called OneView. We're finding that there are a lot of marketers who are already transacting through DV or through Yahoo or through Trade Desk and others. And so instead of, continuing to swim upstream, we decided to really make sure that we're interoperable across all third-party DSPs. So, and really, I think most importantly, it's how do we plug in to marketers' holistic streaming strategy? And a big piece of what we're seeing and where I'll use a sports analogy, but where the puck is going is programmatic execution within streaming in a big, big way. So we recently announced our partnership and adoption of Trade Desk's Unified ID 2.0. And for those that don't know, Unified ID is an interoperable identity solution that spans across all digital channels. So it's great for advertisers that want to leverage targeting insights across an omnichannel approach. So combining Trade Desk's holistic identity solution, UID, and Roku's leading streaming scale, this has given marketers in the Trade Desk a major new inventory source that drives a couple of things. First and foremost, and what we see a lot from CPG brands, is looking for better audience reach. So with UID 2.0, advertisers can find their audiences on Roku at scale. The other piece is better match rates. So with a better identifier across that omnichannel approach, there's better match rates, which means better campaign performance and return on investment. So through improved audience reach, more accurate targeting and measurement capabilities ensure advertisers see better conversion rates and then overall campaign success. So far, the adoption of UID represents another step forward in Roku's strategic path to programmatic excellence. We're excited about the early success we've seen and looking to continue bringing that to more and more marketers. So you guys have been talking to a bunch of different brands. How are you seeing brands thinking about UID? That's got to be a big topic on the show.
Yeah, of course. They want unified identities so that they have richer information about who they're targeting and they have a better understanding of, is someone really truly new to brand, or are they just new to brand in a channel? Getting that identity resolution and being able to carry that across different platforms and be able to target people throughout the marketing funnel wherever they choose to. Like you said, you want to be where advertisers choose to transact. Advertisers want to be wherever their consumers choose to consume content. And so that identity resolution is critically important. I don't know what you think.
See, over the course of the last year and a half, since brands have seen volume challenges due to the inflationary environment and excess pricing in the mix, as a result, brands are now really trying to claw households that they've lost. They're trying to claw it back. And, an average brand has lost over 3 to 5% of its household. A unified ID makes sure that you can optimize the advertising spend you put, because most large companies have a series of brands. You're talking to the same household for every single brand. Unified ID will actually help make that much more seamless, optimized, as well as, more importantly, loyalty. Once you bring a household back, you also have to keep it. How do you focus on that household? Unified ID 2.0 was long overdue. The industry needs it now more than ever. No debate in my head at all whatsoever.
Couldn't agree more. And something you mentioned there too that I think is fascinating, right? When we think about lapsed category buyers, we think about loyal category buyers. There's a different frequency cap need, right? There's a different reach frequency model for each of those. And a lot of times we're talking to marketers and there's sort of one overarching frequency cap. So I think when you get into the sophistication that certainly a platform like the Trade Desk can provide, especially now with a unified identity across omnichannel, you get into really a more effective way to leverage your ad spend. And that's super exciting from my perspective.
So, Jake, I want to talk about our favorite topic here on the CPG Guys, which is retail media. Access to these large-scaled first-party consumption data assets for targeting is a marketer's dream. The promise of closed-loop performance measurement is what gets everybody excited. So I'd love to know from Roku's perspective, what's new? What are you focusing on? What do you have to share with our audience around your ability to enable full funnel marketing through retail media and the partners you've established?
Yeah, I mean, we've been in this game for a bit, and we'll talk about the partners we've been working with, but we agree with where retail media is going. And I think, eMarketer estimates it at about 140 billion in 2024, which is up over 20% year over year growth in terms of more and more brands leveraging retail media. So it's a huge opportunity. It provides a revenue opportunity, but really a targeting and ROI opportunity for our partners. So when marketers think of retail media, I think they generally think about it as the ability to drive and measure sales. We see it also as the opportunity that the retail media data can also support reach and brand awareness goals. So across Roku's Commerce Plus product suite is what we call it. And those partners really are Kroger Precision Marketing, which we've been working with for a number of years now, Instacart, and our friends at Walmart Connect. We've seen positive growth in a number of areas like brand awareness, favorability, consideration, and intent. So Roku's Commerce Plus tools are powerful, whether we're talking about brand awareness or lower funnel intent and conversion. I should highlight that Roku has been doing this for a while, as I mentioned before. So we have many success stories to share about the impact of CTV in retail. I'm happy to share and go in depth on a number of them for any of those that are interested. And please, feel free to DM me on that. One recent one that we've now conducted through Instacart, and Instacart's our most recent partnership. But on average, we saw 51% of streamers who purchased a product they saw advertised on Roku via Instacart were new to the brand. So bring in new potential consumers. Compared to the average Instacart buyer, exposed Roku buyers are spending 22% more money on a product and making purchases of that product 31% more often. So the power of retail media data plus Roku scale is massive. And we're bringing in new buyers who spend more money and do it more often. So we've seen great success with targeting and measurement campaigns like these certainly across CPG. And we work closely also with Walmart Connect on shoppable ad units, which we call OK to check out. And I'm sure you've seen some of these. Again, for Roku users, you'll see these interactive shoppable ads pop up where it tells you to grab your Roku remote and use the OK button to make a seamless checkout. And something new we're exploring in a bigger way, and this kind of dovetails on the trade desk conversation we were just having, but given our interoperability across all DSPs, what we're looking to do now is retarget consumers that have clicked into a Roku commerce experience so that we can continue to move them down the funnel and ultimately help them drive the purchase of a product, which is I think really interesting and gets into, again, more strategic and tactical operation around how you can use programmatic in different ways. So from pet care to beauty, there's a ton of different categories of CPG that are leaning into these partnerships in one way or another. So a big thing coming up next from a commerce standpoint is we're moving some of our Commerce Plus opportunities into our home screen. And our home screen, for those that don't have a Roku device, it's the first thing you see when you turn on your TV. It reaches 120 million households every single day. 120 million people within those households every single day. And what we want people to use their Roku remote to check out right from a home screen marquee unit. And we're excited about this as it combines a massive reach with retail activation.
120 million people every day is Super Bowl every single day for reach. So you actually said for those people that don't have a Roku device at home, I'll be like, why do you not have a Roku at home? Let me remind the public that today I'm speaking with Jake Piasecki, head of verticals for CPG, health and wellness insurance at Roku. Let's talk about your core business. You just hit upon it very briefly, the Roku home screen. Can you take us through what all brands can do with the home screen and leverage the various apps and services on it?
Yeah, I mean, the home screen has been, we're a streaming platform first and foremost, right? We're selling sticks and pucks and smart TVs so that you can access a world of streaming television. And what we're also seeing is that the television experience is continuing to fracture, right? I don't think that's any surprise to anyone. Mass audiences have dispersed and viewer attention is fragmented in a big way. The entire industry is facing the challenge of finding the right building blocks to build mass audiences, but most importantly, earn consumer attention. So as you mentioned, I just mentioned as well, every day the Roku home screen is reaching over 120 million people. That's about as many people as watched the Super Bowl as you just mentioned. So 120 million people are starting their TV experience on Roku's home screen every single day. So before the apps they watch, before the shows, before they choose what to watch, they are all interacting with our home screen, which gives us an extremely powerful opportunity to connect with consumers. Essentially, Roku is the lead-in to the TV experience. Our home screen is fun, it's delightful, it's also a powerful reach tool since we were able to capture attention of the SVOD viewer before they enter an ad-free or mostly ad-free viewing environment. And one of the great opportunities on our home screen, something we call our marquee ad, which is a giant billboard ad that takes up about a third of the screen on the right-hand side. And it's long been used to build other streaming apps businesses. So when Peacock was launching, they wanted people to sign up for Peacock. They showed a new show and you clicked on that ad and they used that marquee ad and you clicked on it to go in to subscribe to Peacock and go watch the brand new show. Again, we've been using that for years to help build the streaming app business for other streamers. We've now opened this up to brand marketers. So first and foremost, it's a giant mass brand awareness opportunity, but it's also a clickable ad unit that drives to a more immersive brand experience. So we work with partners to create, track, and measure, and that can be a shoppable experience, that can be a branded integration, branded environment, but it's just a really powerful tool. And we love how this has been working so far, but we're also constantly innovating our ad opportunities on the home screen. And for instance, next up, we're experimenting with video in the marquee ad unit. So imagine, again, on the home screen, that big marquee ad unit on the right hand of the screen, you could be scrolling over, seeing potentially a 6-second ad, a vertical ad. It's a really interesting opportunity across the home screen, something that we think is going to work really well, hopefully really supercharge our marketing partners' MMM models. In addition to that, we've also worked with partners to complete to really do complete home screen takeovers, or what we call fan experiences for major launches or really theatrical releases. For those, again, on their Roku device this past weekend, if you're on our home screen at all, you would have seen Disney's new series, Agatha All Along fan experience. So it was a totally immersive experience across our home screen and various other parts of our platform about the new Disney show that's launching. So some really cool, integrative, immersive branding opportunities. And we're always looking to innovate and do more there. And really, I think what the most important piece of this is, and what we're most excited about, is that Roku's home screen scale is there to help marketers and publishers solve for that fragmentation we talked about, but also connect with streamers in a bigger way. It's also really there to help our streamers find their favorite stuff and find delight in TV again. So it's been a lot of fun to leverage and innovate, ideate around the home screen.
Jake, you'll be happy to know that the home screen takeover for Agatha got me. I watched the first episode. I was all over it. Success, conversion, boom.
I was at JFK on Sunday, JFK Airport, at Terminal 8, American Airlines, going up and down that ramp from the remote gates. Agatha was everywhere with the word Roku.
It's fun. I mean, obviously we do a lot in the M&E space, which is not my area of expertise. But it's great to see, certainly people going back to movie theaters. It's great to see big theatrical releases across streaming, and all these big takeovers are awesome reach vehicles and conversion opportunities, right? So it's great to see.
All right, Jake, you threw out a great number, which is 120 million Americans start their streaming TV experience on the Roku home screen. I think that is incredibly impressive. My question to you is, given the fact that they start, how are you delivering on, because you talked about fragmentation, how are you delivering on audience splintering and fragmentation for brands that really do need that national scaled audience to make it worth their while to advertise through streaming?
Yeah, it's a great question. Again, as I mentioned before, we're really focused on what's happening with audience attention and fragmentation of audiences. And, something we're really focused on is, we as a platform, how do we better harness this power for our marketing partners? And what we've seen is that consumers quit apps, but they're not quitting the TV on their wall, right? The TV experience is really fragmented today, and there's an abundance of choice. And mass audiences have dispersed, and viewer attention is hard to wrangle. But Roku, as the lead into today's TV experience, is where more time is spent streaming TV than ever before. So we're very focused on driving greater reach and managing frequency for our partners. And what we call it buying the platform, not the pieces. You see, like, the way we look at it is, when you buy individual apps, it's harder to connect the dots on reach frequency when you buy audiences across different ecosystems, like buying multiple apps to reach a cereal category buyer, for instance. Did consumer A see my ad on one app and now seeing my ad again on another app too soon, in the same day, in the same week? Am I getting the most potential reach for my advertising dollar? This is something we think about all the time, especially with CPG brands and marketers. So as the biggest streaming platform, Roku sees a ton of viewership data, and audience fragmentation is a real issue. So you can see a pattern here, right? Consumers are watching lots of different apps for shorter periods of time. So the question becomes, will my audience be there for launch day if I'm buying individual apps by themselves? Will there be enough scale leading up to my holiday weekend sales event, those types of things? When advertisers work with Roku, we leverage our rich first-party data along with an advertiser's first-party or third-party data set to create a robust, targeted audience approach. We then use our scaled platform to find that audience, either on the Roku channel, which is our owned and operated app. By the way, it's a top AVOD app on our platform. Or we also then use inventory we own across all the big apps that people talk about, like Hulu, Tubi, Pluto, Paramount, etc. And the great thing is that all 83 million of our Roku active accounts are deterministically logged in with a credit card, with an email address, so we know what consumer is seeing which ad. This really, which I think this is the most important part, this allows us to optimize in real time to make sure we are driving for reach while managing frequency. So streamers binge their favorite shows and then move on to the next show, which oftentimes means they're off to a new app which also means it's very hard to track audiences unless you use a platform. Like I said, consumers quit apps, but they're still using their same Roku device to access their next binge-worthy show on the next new streaming app. So as the platform, Roku tracks this behavior and solves for fragmenting audiences. And from what I've seen at Roku over my 4.5 years, this is probably one of our biggest value propositions for marketers. And it's something that we continue to really harp on and really figuring out how we drive more effective and efficient reach. And, we love what we've been doing at Roku, but I'd love to throw back to you guys again. You're talking to all of our partners on this show, and how are you seeing marketers thinking about the TV reach frequency problem?
As I mentioned earlier, Jake, the need of the hour is getting households that have been lost back. Marketers are trying every tactic that exists in the playbook, tactics that didn't exist in the playbook. The number one goal, believe it or not, today of marketers is massive reach. No better mechanisms for massive reach than do all the stuff you talked about on a home screen, right? Because consumers may quit individual apps, but when you take the holistic platform, you get the attention from the consumer that you need. And then much earlier in this conversation, you also talked about the sport zones when we talked that. Those are very important today because each one of them individually has a reach. And it's hard for me to even accept that the need of the hour is, but it is. It's actually the uppermost part of the upper funnel. If you don't have massive reach, forget about the lower funnel and bringing households back. It starts here. And with the Unified ID 2.0, you can actually make sure that even the massive upper funnel coverage for reach is focused and targeted and optimized. That's where Brand said. Anything you wanted to add, Peter?
Yeah, just that when I thought about what Jake said on someone opens their app 4 times a month, I'm like, let's see. Every Friday, I open up Bravo so that I can see the OC Housewives. And every Wednesday, I open up Paramount so I can see Kelsey Grammer and Frasier. That's my frequency usage when those are in season. But being able to target me across all the platforms I'm watching, picking up the Dodgers whenever I can, that's what's critical. And advertisers are going to love being able to understand where Peter is across multiple platforms and do that all within Roku, because that's my mechanism for engaging through streaming television.
Oh, I thought you were opening the Silver Bachelor every day.
No, I haven't. Oh, the Golden Bachelorette? No, I haven't adopted that yet. I mean, what do you take me for, Sri?
Sorry, I don't even know.
It's just Real Housewives OC. That's as far as it goes.
There we go. I got to get my OC.
That was one of my guilty pleasures back in the early 2000s. I still remember the Real Housewives of OC, and one of the kids in Real Housewives, I forget the exact name, but they owned the Maloof auto showrooms across all of Texas.
Yes.
Maloof was her name. Her daughter.
That was Beverly Hills. Yeah, her family owns the Golden State. They own the Golden State Warriors. That's exactly who they are.
The kids sang together at Septine School of Music, and I remember that they've done a bunch of shows. So that said, Jake, trusting role leading insurance, health and wellness, CPG. Are you primarily the business development guy? Do you get engaged in services? What happens once someone says, Jake, I'm ready to partner with you? What's the very next step, and what can a brand expect in a partnership with you?
Thanks for that question. I love it. And it's been incredibly rewarding and a ton of fun standing up a team focused on CPG. It's been about 2.5 years that we've verticalized and really built these vertical focused teams. And we're standing up some teams within the CPG business, really focused on Alc Bev as well. We have an incredibly smart, dedicated team focused across the CPG business. And I think the biggest piece of this and the most fun part about it is understanding challenges on a one-to-one client basis and really owning that relationship from marketer to agency strategy, planning, and investment has been really, really important. It allows us to be a consultant and make sure we bring partner solutions really tied to their specific needs. At Roku, we have a wide variety of innovative ad, data, measurement, and creative products that allow us to build solutions that are bespoke to the marketer's challenges, right? But we have to understand the problems first. And so that deep relationship is really important to us. And our partnerships really run the gamut. You mentioned before, is it business development or services? But we've scaled integrated partnerships with the big names in CPG, yet we're still in business development with many small, medium, and still major brands in CPG, as well as other verticals. So it's a super dynamic, challenging, and fun environment. More and more marketers are opening up to what streaming can do for their brands. It's about, like we've been talking a lot about reach, but awareness and performance are areas where we are seeing major success. And our process starts with trying to truly understand the brand needs and delivering a custom solution, leveraging a variety of our products based on the marketer's needs. For instance, our Coke partnership is wildly different than our Pepsi relationship, as it should be, right? And you mentioned you're going to be on the ground at Grocery Shop. We're going to have a team there as well. And we'd love to connect with as many people. And please, as I mentioned before, feel free to DM me. But we use conferences like this to gain learnings about industry trends, challenges, innovations, as well as connect with clients, friends, and partners that are out there as well. And if we're talking to you, if we're not talking to you, we definitely should be. So please let me know, and we can connect at Grocery Shop.
All right, Jake, I'm going to close it out with you. Let's fire up the DeLorean. Let's activate the flux capacitor. And let's hit 88 miles per hour, shall we? Let's go into the future. What are some of the trends that you're focused on, thinking, a year, 2, 3 years out, that you're watching to see how is this going to have an impact upon this industry that Roku finds itself in?
First and foremost, I'd love to know, your audience probably understands that reference that you just made, but it'd be fun to have a poll about that.
Yeah, I think we'll have to put that out, Sri, and we'll add one of the options being a hot tub, because that's yet another time traveling mechanism.
Don't they have that at White Sox Stadium?
I think they do. They have they may have a hot tub there. That's a good idea. I think they'd like to go back in time to when they had a winning record. That would be helpful. Pat Burke, I love you. We're just mocking your White Sox. Don't mind us. See you at Grocery Shop, old friend.
You don't bring back memories. I still remember me, Roy Whalen, and him seeing Jason Giambi hit a grand slam at White Sox Stadium, 2005.
But yeah, so love to know what trends you're kind of following or thinking going to have an impact on this industry we find ourselves in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, listen, I think a big piece of it is what platforms can do. A lot of what we just spoke about. Again, connecting the reach frequency dots, making streaming television really easy for the streamer, helping them migrate off of, again, that linear channel program guide into a streaming world where they can find everything they want quickly, easily, and smoothly. It's about, I think, too, like, what are the costs of all of these different streaming apps that you want to have, whether they're truly SVOD, or it's a dual revenue stream with AVOD plus a subscription. There's certainly going to be ones that are winners, but there's going to be ones that are, maybe that, again, serial churning is happening and people will churn in and out of them.
I'm watching a lot of bundling starting to happen. Right. So the whole thing we were running away from was the cable subscription bill, right? And here we are now bundling back, but it does protect the downside with bundling with some competitive apps. But it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. So we're really excited about where we are in this space as the platform. With the platform comes, obviously massive accessibility to no matter what app or what kind of content you're into, you're going to find it on Roku. And as I mentioned, whether you're opening an app four times a month, you're going to always open up your Roku device. And again, we're expanding massively in terms of active accounts and people using our platform. As the platform, there comes these other major marketing opportunities. Not only just, obviously video is number one in our hearts and minds here, and certainly video reach. And Sri, as you mentioned, that being at that top of that funnel is truly, truly important, and video reach gets you done and gets you there. But there's all these other really fascinating reach opportunities, engagement opportunities that exist across our platform. And one thing we sort of spoke about at the beginning of the call, but it's Roku City, right? And, for those that don't know, Roku City is our scrolling screensaver on Roku when your device goes idle. And, it'll scroll slowly by and
a lot of people I know have parties at their house and they just let their TV go idle because they want Roku City scrolling in the background while they're having dinner, having drinks with friends. But within the screensaver, you're going to see references to iconic movies, TV, and entertainment Easter eggs throughout it. And we've long allowed entertainment companies to place billboards in our city, which you can kind of see behind me, to entice viewers to sign up for their services or watch their programming. Now we've invited brands to pop up in our city to celebrate major milestones as well. You probably saw, I don't know if you saw it this year, but Disney celebrated their 100th birthday, and they wanted to celebrate inside Roku City. We also did a massive Barbie movie takeover, and we had the Barbie mansion in Roku City. And so there's a bunch of different brands now partaking. In fact, we had, and you can see back in the lake area of Roku City, we had a Carnival cruise ship cruising through there, and you're going to see a ton more CPG brands activating in the next few months. It's a big incremental reach opportunity, but it's also just a massive fun way to activate and do something different with your brand. You're also going to see more sports integration. We mentioned it within this call as well, but you're going to see more sports integrations in our original content on the Roku channel. You're going to see more original content coming out of Roku. Our original content team is fantastic, and we're continuing to launch new innovative shows and content series on the Roku channel. You'll see more A-list artists and creators looking to leverage our scale with their new project, with a bunch of their new projects. And, AI has been a central part of our platform as well. And it's something that we haven't talked about yet, but it's been a big part of how we personalize the streaming experience for our viewers, with either content recommendations that are more relevant to their interests, viewing habits, location, and certainly more. One of the great things about the Roku home screen, by the way, is that it's unique to each active account. Yours is going to look different from mine based on your viewing habits and your app choices, and AI is behind that, driving that algorithm for us. AI has also been a useful tool for us to help users see the content that they're most interested in seeing. And really important too, by the way, for our marketing partners, is it helps us serve more relevant ads. One of the things we constantly think about here at Roku is that consumers don't hate ad experiences. They don't hate ads. They hate bad ad experiences. So how do we make them better, make it more personalized? Serving ads that are more relevant to them is really, really important. So, with data, but using creativity, putting those two, they work better together. So machine learning has significantly advanced audience targeting capabilities in CTV advertising, ushering in a greater level of accountability and accuracy. For instance, we're working right now with a streaming service using new machine learning capabilities from Roku to suggest new creatives on Roku's marquee ad that we talked about earlier. So we're conducting this in real time, doing multi-creative tests to learn what ideas are driving viewership and tune-in. So we're going to be bringing a lot more of this type of thinking to more brands soon, and looking to leverage AI in a bigger way. So I definitely think that's certainly a future-facing opportunity for us. But again, I'd also look for a lot more happening in Roku City, and launching shows out of Roku City, launching more brand experiences out of Roku City, and certainly leveraging more of what we have that's differentiated from a lot of the other space, which again is our home screen as well.
This episode could not have been completed without discussing AI. Absolutely must do. You didn't say clean rooms, or did I miss it?
He did at the beginning. He did in his opening. He did make reference. He didn't talk about it during his questions, but he said that they have clean room availability.
That said, let me remind the audience of the URL cpgguys.com, where you can find all of our content. And if you or your company has some thought leadership to contribute to our community discussion, just like Jake did today, drop us an email at contact@cpgguys.com, and maybe you can be on the show as well. Don't forget to drop us a rating at cpgguys.com on the navigation bar up top. To our LinkedIn followers, can't say thank you enough times. Without you, this show doesn't exist. The likes, clicks, comments, DMs, sponsorship, partnership, meeting us at events, doing live podcasts, everything adds up. Jake, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Very nice to meet you all, and looking forward to seeing you at grocery shop.
Mr. Bond, it's that time. What did we learn?
Yeah, we learned a lot. Roku is the place where 120 million Americans start their streaming TV experience every day. They have built their audience to an incredible size. They have the ability through their partnership with TDD and the Unified ID to identify consumers, and through the use of apps on their platform and their own solutions, they can help brands create at scale a communication strategy to reach individual consumers. I think they've built something really powerful. The fact that they have interoperability across all the 3P DSPs, the demand side platforms, for doing programmatic streaming TV execution. Really, really powerful. And there's so much more to come. I mean, I could sit here, Shri, and quote chapter and verse, but it's pretty clear to me that you're a brand advertiser. I'll just put it this way. You're a brand advertiser, and you want to reach scale, and you want to find consumers, and you want to execute content, and you want to be able to do that inside the streaming service when they first hit the starting screen. If they're in Roku City, there's so many different interactive ad units that they offer. They are a marketer's dream. Roku is the place as a marketer you want to go to connect full funnel capabilities for advertising. What a real powerhouse. This is a great episode, Shri. Very excited.
Thank you so much, Peter. I appreciate that recap, and this is great to be here with you guys. Really appreciate it.
I'll repeat the number 120 million to close out this episode. That is a wrap. See you soon on another episode of the CPG Guys.
The content in this podcast episode is provided for general informational purposes only. By listening to our episode, you understand that no information contained in this episode should be construed as advice from CPG Guys LLC or the individual author, hosts, or guests, nor is it intended to be a substitute for research on any subject matter. Reference to any specific product or entity does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by CPG Guys LLC. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. The views expressed by CPG Guys LLC do not represent the views of their employers or the entity they represent. CPG Guys LLC expressly disclaims any and all liability or responsibility for any direct, indirect, incidental, special, consequential, or other damages arising out of any individual's use of, reference to, or inability to use this podcast or the information we present in this podcast.